Welcome, everyone, to our deep dive into the world of ArcGIS developers. These folks are the masterminds behind how we understand and use location data.
Yeah.
And if you've ever thought about how organizations use raw geographic data to gain valuable insights, you're in the right spot.
Absolutely.
So
ArcGIS is not just about making maps anymore.
Right.
It's about using location intelligence to make better decisions and optimize resources and even predict trends.
and to do all that you need.
You need skilled ArcGIS developers
Yes.
who can speak the language of both geography and technology.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this deep dive is all about.
Yeah.
We're going to demystify the world of ArcGIS development and answer your most burning questions about hiring these talented people.
Sounds good.
And speaking of finding the best developers, a favorite resource is theperfectdeveloper.com.
Oh, yeah.
They have this awesome tool called the 5 Questions that can really help you figure out exactly what you need in an ArcGIS developer.
Yeah,
Give it a try. It's a real game changer.
I agree.
Okay, so before we get lost in the code, let's answer a really basic question.
Okay.
What exactly does an ArcGIS developer do?
Well, it's more than just making maps.
Right.
Think of them as digital architects who build custom solutions on top of the ArcGIS platform.
Okay.
They're customizing and integrating ArcGIS to fit specific organizational needs,
Okay.
whether that's creating new tools or adding features or even making it work seamlessly with other systems.
So it's kind of like
Yeah.
taking a powerful toolbox and tailoring it to solve a specific problem.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're also building applications,
Mhm.
web, desktop, and even mobile apps that use the power of location data.
Wow.
Imagine a mobile app that helps field workers collect data in real time,
Yeah.
or a desktop tool that helps analysts find hidden patterns in crime stats,
Yeah.
all powered by ArcGIS and built by these developers.
It's not just about static maps anymore.
Yeah.
It's really about
better.
creating interactive experiences that bring location data to life.
Yeah.
But what makes an ArcGIS developer different from, say, a typical web developer?
Sure.
Is it just about knowing the ArcGIS platform inside and out?
Well, it's definitely part of it.
Mm.
They need a deep understanding of those GIS concepts,
Okay.
mastery of that ArcGIS toolkit. Think ArcGIS Pro, ArcGIS Online, and all those APIs that come with it.
Uh-huh.
But it goes even further.
Uh,
They're using special geospatial programming languages, often Python or JavaScript,
Mhm.
but with libraries and frameworks made for working with location data.
Okay.
And their code is doing some really unique things,
Like,
like analyzing distances and calculating areas and performing geospatial statistics.
wow.
It's this blend of coding and geography.
It sounds like they're not just programmers,
Oh.
but they're spatial thinkers who understand how to get insights from where and why things are.
Yeah.
Now, this brings up a big question.
Okay.
When do you actually need to hire an ArcGIS developer?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It really depends on whether location data plays a significant role in your business or your decision making.
Go ahead.
You know, if you're just using off-the-shelf mapping software, you probably don't need a dedicated ArcGIS developer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to build custom GIS applications or integrate GIS into your existing systems,
Yeah.
or really just unlock all that analytical power of ArcGIS,
Right.
it's probably time to start thinking about hiring one.
So it's all about taking your use of location data to that next level.
Yeah.
And of course, if you are feeling a little overwhelmed trying to find the right ArcGIS developer,
Yeah.
remember, theperfectdeveloper.com.
Good resource.
Their 5 Questions tool can help you navigate that hiring process with confidence.
For sure.
But we're not done yet.
Okay.
We've got a ton of frequently asked questions about ArcGIS developers that we're going to unpack.
Let's do it.
Are you ready to dive into those?
Yeah, let's go. So let's dive into one of the biggest questions everyone has. What skills should you look for when hiring an ArcGIS developer?
Yeah. It's such a specialized field. So
Yeah.
where do we even begin?
Well, the first thing is their technical skills.
Okay.
You want someone with a good understanding of Python, especially for things like scripting and automation.
Yeah. Python seems to be like the go-to language for data these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're building web applications that work with ArcGIS,
Right.
you're going to need a developer with strong JavaScript skills and experience with those ArcGIS APIs.
So Python and JavaScript are must-haves.
Pretty much.
Anything else on the technical side?
Well, depending on the project,
Okay.
C# could be important too, particularly for desktop applications or if you're working with the .NET framework.
So a good mix of programming languages is key.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not just about knowing the languages.
Okay.
It's about knowing how to use them within the ArcGIS ecosystem.
Right.
They need to be comfortable with spatial database management,
Okay.
working with systems like PostgreSQL with the PostGIS extension, or even ArcGIS's own ArcDE.
So they need to know databases, but like with a spatial twist.
Exactly. It's like a whole...
It's specialty.
Yeah, it's a specialized branch of software development.
Okay, too.
And then we can't forget about soft skills.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Problem solving is super important because ArcGIS projects often have some pretty complex spatial challenges.
Right. So you need someone who can really think things through.
Exactly. And collaboration is also key.
Uh-huh.
These developers work with lots of different teams.
It's not a solo thing.
No.
You need someone who can explain technical things clearly and work well with others.
Exactly. And when you're dealing with location data,
Yeah.
attention to detail is crucial.
Right. Because even a small error
Could be a big problem.
could have big consequences. Yeah.
Huge.
So we've talked about the skills.
Yeah.
But let's get practical here.
Okay.
What kind of salary can an ArcGIS developer expect?
Sure.
I imagine it varies a lot, right?
It does, just like any tech role.
Okay.
Location, experience, and the complexity of the projects all play a part.
Could you give us some rough numbers?
Sure.
Like, what would a developer specializing in real-time data visualization for something like emergency response expect to make?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Would that be on the higher end?
Yeah, you're right. Specialized skills like that would likely put someone at the higher end.
Right.
In the U.S., you're probably looking at a range from $70,000 to $120,000 per year, on average around $90,000.
Wow.
And in Europe, it's usually a bit lower, maybe $40,000 to $70,000.
Okay.
But it really depends on the country.
And of course, it's important to remember that a skilled ArcGIS developer is an investment.
Totally.
Their ability to unlock insights from your location data is super valuable.
Absolutely, it's worth it.
And speaking of navigating that whole hiring process,
Yeah.
don't forget to check out theperfectdeveloper.com.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
Their 5 questions tool can really help you figure out what you need from a developer.
For sure.
So we've talked about salary.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another important question.
Okay.
Should you hire full-time, part-time, or go with a contractor?
Good question. That's something a lot of people are thinking about.
When does it make sense to choose one over the other?
Well, it depends on your specific needs and how big the project is.
Okay.
Full-time gives you stability and you can build in-house expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Part-time is good if your needs are more sporadic and you want flexibility.
Makes sense.
And contract work is great for those one-off projects that have a clear end date.
So it's about finding the right fit for your organization.
Exactly.
Speaking of finding the right fit, should you try to hire locally or look at outsourcing?
Another great question.
They both have pros and cons, right?
Yeah, they do. Local hiring gives you that cultural alignment, and it's easier to have those face-to-face interactions.
Right. It's easier to build trust and understanding when you're all in the same place.
Exactly.
But with remote work becoming so common and the tech industry becoming so global,
Yeah.
wouldn't having a strong online collaborative culture be more important than being in the same location?
You're right. Remote work has changed things a lot.
Couldn't you say that accessing a wider pool of talent through outsourcing might be more beneficial, even if you prefer in-person work?
That's a good point. You have access to a global talent pool with outsourcing,
Right.
which means you might find someone with a really specific expertise that's hard to find locally.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And with the right tools and communication, you can make remote collaboration really effective.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's about weighing the pros and cons and figuring out what fits best with your company culture and your project needs.
Exactly.
So let's say we've narrowed down our options.
Okay.
How do we actually assess a developer's skills beyond just reading their resume?
Right.
How can we make sure they can really do the job?
Well, you need to take a multifaceted approach.
Okay.
Technical interviews are really important.
Okay.
That's where you can really dig into their understanding of ArcGIS, their coding abilities, and how they solve problems.
Right.
A portfolio review is also super important.
Yeah, to see their past work.
Exactly. It gives you a better idea of their real-world experience.
So it's about understanding their practical experience, not just their theoretical knowledge.
Right. And don't underestimate the value of a good technical test.
Oh, yeah.
Give them a real-world problem to solve something relevant to your project.
Okay.
That'll give you a clear picture of their technical skills and their problem-solving process.
It's like a little audition for the role.
Exactly. And then, of course, you can't forget about references.
Right, talking to past employers.
Talking to past employers or clients can give you really valuable insights.
Yeah, to get a sense of their work ethic and their ability to get things done.
Absolute references are essential.
So another question we often get is, should you prioritize technical skills or domain experience when you're hiring an ArcGIS developer?
That's a tough one.
It is, yeah. When does domain expertise become a must-have?
Well, if your projects have very specific GIS needs, like if you're working in environmental management or urban planning where you have all those regulations and industry standards, then domain experience is really important. You want someone who understands all the ins and outs of that field. And can get started right away.
So they're speaking the language of your industry.
Exactly.
Not just the language of code.
Right.
But if it's more about general purpose GIS applications.
Yeah.
Would you say technical skills are more important then?
Exactly.
Okay.
In those cases, you really need someone who's a strong programmer. Who can build solid applications on the ArcGIS platform. Domain knowledge is still helpful, but the main focus should be on their technical skills.
So it's all about finding that right balance. Okay, so let's say you've hired your ArcGIS developer. You've found the perfect person.
Great.
What are some keys to making sure the project is successful? How do you keep everything on track and avoid those common pitfalls?
Well, it all starts with clear communication from the very beginning. Everyone needs to be on the same page about the goals, the deliverables, and the timeline.
So making sure everyone knows what they're working towards and what's expected.
Exactly. That shared understanding prevents so many problems later on.
Yeah, it's not just about setting goals, though, right?
Right.
What about those day-to-day interactions?
The
collaboration process.
You've hit on another key element there. It's all about fostering open communication between the developer, the stakeholders, and the end users. Things like regular check-ins. Feedback loops, and being willing to incorporate different perspectives. Those are all really important for keeping things on track and making sure the final product meets everyone's needs.
It's like a team effort.
It is.
Where everyone has something valuable to contribute.
For sure.
But even with great communication and collaboration, things can still go wrong.
Of course.
How do we make sure the final product is actually good?
That's where quality assurance comes in.
Okay.
Don't skip the testing. Test the application thoroughly. Validate the data. Make sure it aligns with what the users expect. You know, catching those little glitches early on can prevent big problems later.
So don't let those small errors slip through.
Exactly.
Okay. But the GIS world is always changing.
It is.
How do you keep your ArcGIS developer and your project from becoming outdated?
That's where continuous learning is so important. The GIS landscape is constantly evolving. There are always new tools, new techniques, new best practices. Investing in your developers' professional development. Encouraging them to go to conferences, take online courses, or even just giving them time to learn about new ArcGIS features. All that helps them stay ahead of the curve.
So it's about understanding that learning is an ongoing thing.
It is.
Especially in a field that changes so quickly like GIS.
Absolutely.
And for anyone looking to simplify that hiring process and find the right ArcGIS developer. Don't forget about theperfectdeveloper.com and their 5 questions tool.
Such a great resource.
It's a great way to start your search.
Yeah, for sure.
We've talked about a lot in this mini deep dive.
We have.
We've covered the skills of ArcGIS developers, and we've explored the ins and outs of hiring and managing them effectively. Any final thoughts for our listeners out there who are trying to navigate this world of location data?
Remember that location data is a really powerful tool for understanding our world. It's the key to unlocking new insights, optimizing those resources, and making smarter decisions. And finding the right ArcGIS developer can really help your organization use that power.
And transform the way they do things.
Exactly.
I completely agree. A skilled ArcGIS developer can really be a game changer for any organization that uses location data.
Absolutely.
And with that, we're going to wrap up our mini deep dive into the world of ArcGIS developers.
Great.
We hope this deep dive has been helpful. And that you're feeling ready to tackle your next GIS project.
Good luck.
And remember, in the world of GIS, the possibilities are endless. Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Keep pushing the boundaries.
And keep mapping.
Until next time, happy mapping.